continuing our Southeast Asia trip, this time leaving Da Nang behind and heading straight to Kuala Lumpur. We're at the airport now, about to board our Air Asia flight. Honestly, we never imagined we'd fly with this airline, so far away from Europe. Yet here we are, making it happen. Another country, another adventure. Let's go. If you're flying Air Asia with big luggage, get their value back. You get a seat, a meal, and a large bag included. We tried the grilled peri chicken and the chicken rice, and honestly, way better than most airplane meals we've ever had. Oh, and if you haven't seen our Halong Bay and Hoi An episode yet, check it out. It's our previous video in the series. We just landed in Kuala Lumpur and we're on our way to our Airbnb. First thing that hit us, the highways here are insane. Super wide, clean, and really well organized. And as we got closer to the city, the skyline just appeared out of nowhere. We didn't expect Kuala Lumpur to feel this modern and developed. What a first impression.
We just checked into our Airbnb. We are on the 15th floor and this place is such a steal. We decided to go for an apartment instead of a hotel because it was way more affordable. And the best part, there's a pool on the 35th floor. Not bad for a few nights in KL. Now let's go explore the city a bit. And of course, the first stop has to be the Petronas Towers. You can come to Kuala Lumpur and skip its most iconic landmark. It's the next day and we have a full one planned. We met up with a friend who lives here and together we are exploring more of Kuala Lumpur. First stop, heading up the Petronas Towers to see the city from above. The views are definitely impressive. You get this panoramic sweep of KL, the highways, the greenery and the skyline stretching all the way out. But honestly, it felt a bit strange not seeing the towers themselves. You are inside the icon, so you kind of miss the actual stars of the skyline. So if you ever visit, I'd actually recommend going up the Menara KL Tower or even Merdeka 118 now that it's open. From there, you can see the Petronas Towers in all their glory.
We made a quick stop to try Durian again, this time in Malaysia, the home of Durian. In our last video, we tried it for the first time in Vietnam. And let's just say we were not big fans. But our friend promised us that the Malaysian Durian would change our minds. So, we got two versions, a sweeter one and a more sour one. And honestly, the sweet one was actually pretty good. Super creamy, rich, and way easier to eat than what we remembered. Then we discovered a new fruit, mangosteen. It's super sweet and refreshing. People actually eat it to cleanse their palate. Andrea instantly fell in love with it.
Our friend then took us to a classic Chinese restaurant and we tried seafood in ways we'd never had before. Different textures, different flavors, everything cooked in that comforting home-style way. It was such a nice change from what we've been eating the past weeks. And that's the cool thing about Kuala Lumpur. It's incredibly diverse. A huge part of the population is ethnically Chinese, and their influence is everywhere, from food to temples to entire neighborhoods like Chinatown.
And since we're talking diversity, our next stop had to be an Indian restaurant. We tried roti with curry, a classic here. And honestly, it quickly became my favorite. Indians make up a significant part of Kuala Lumpur's community too. And you can see their influence everywhere, from food to markets to colorful temples scattered throughout the city. They also brought out this super long, sticky roti straight from the oven. It's such a unique and fun experience to try. To finish the night, I wanted to go all in on curries, and our friends suggested trying them all. At this place, you can get every curry variation served over rice on a banana leaf. Apparently it's called the mother of curries or something like that. Well, I was brave enough to try it, and let's just say, well, don't ask me what happened later that night.
It's the next morning, and we are up at 6 a.m. Got to get moving early because today we have somewhere really important to be.
We got to Batu Caves at 7 a.m. and honestly, it was the perfect decision. We'd heard it gets insanely crowded later in the day, and seeing it this empty, I think we got lucky. Seriously, if you're planning a visit, come early. It makes the experience so much more enjoyable. Batu Caves is one of Malaysia's most famous landmarks, and for good reason. It's a massive limestone hill with a series of caves and temples inside. The main attraction is the huge golden statue of Lord Murugan, towering over the entrance and the colorful stairway that leads up to the cave temples. It's iconic. As we climbed, there were a lot of birds, or maybe bats? Not sure, but they were flying everywhere, adding this surreal energy to the already stunning views. The caves themselves are fascinating, a mix of natural rock formations and religious shrines. You can see the monks and devoted people performing rituals, and there are some monkeys casually hanging around too, adding a bit of chaos to the calm. And the sheer scale of the limestone cliffs is just jaw-dropping. It's one of those places that feels both spiritual and adventurous at the same time. Definitely a must-visit if you're in Kuala Lumpur.
Another reason we wanted to come to Batu Caves was to see the monkeys. You get this mix of jungle and city, and the monkeys are all over, just hanging out on the stairs, climbing the railings, or sitting on temple walls. They are so used to humans that they don't really mind if you get close, and it's adorable to watch them interact with each other. Some more curious, some more playful, and some more just chilling like they owned the place.
Huh?
We've traveled a lot, but we've never really encountered monkeys just casually roaming in the middle of the city like this. It's such a unique experience. Watching them in this environment really adds another layer to the Batu Caves experience, and it's something we'll definitely remember.
We're now in Merdeka Square, one of Kuala Lumpur's most historical spots. This is where Malaysia declared independence, and the area is surrounded by beautiful colonial-era buildings. Behind us, you can see the muddy confluence of rivers that runs through the city. It's funny to think that KL literally started here, at this meeting point of waterways. The contrast between the historic square and the modern skyline around it is just fascinating. Next up, we're at the Central Market, one of Kuala Lumpur's most iconic spots for local culture and crafts. Walking through here, you instantly feel the energy. Colorful stalls, handmade goods, traditional souvenirs, and so many little shops selling everything from batik to jewelry. It's the perfect place to soak up the city's creative side, and you can clearly see how much pride the locals take in their work. Even if you're not shopping, Central Market is worth visiting just to experience the vibe. The mix of art, culture, and the hustle and bustle of people moving through the narrow lanes makes it feel alive. Definitely a must-see for anyone wanting to get a real feel of KL beyond skyscrapers.
While we were at Central Market, there was this event celebrating the people from Borneo, with all sorts of performances and activities. At one point, they started playing some fun, upbeat songs, and everyone jumped in dancing. Kinda like how we Europeans can't resist the Macarena. Of course, I had to join in, soaking up the good vibes and dancing along with everyone. It was such a lively, joyful moment.
Later that evening, we headed to Jalan Alor food street, probably the most famous food street in Kuala Lumpur. The energy here is unreal. Neon lights, sizzling woks, and the smell of all kinds of street food filling the air. We tried a few snacks along the way, soaking in the vibrant atmosphere and the chaos of everyone enjoying their meals. That said, it got really crowded pretty quickly. Well, it was a weekend, so that definitely added to the madness. If you can, I'd recommend visiting on a weekday. You'll still get all the food and atmosphere without having to weave through endless crowds. But honestly, even with the crowd, it was such a fun experience. And to get back to our Airbnb, we hopped on the KL monorail just for fun. It reminded us of our monorail ride back in Tokyo. Different city, same quirky vibe.
It's the next day, and we decided to go on a day tour to Taman Negara. We really wanted to experience Malaysia's rainforests, and apparently this trip is one of the best ways to see them up close. Lush greenery, wildlife, and a totally different side of the country.
Taman Negara is the oldest rainforest in the world, estimated to be over 130 million years old. Walking through it, you immediately feel the history. These trees have been standing for a long time. There's something almost eerie about a rainforest. It's dense, it's humid, and full of life. You hear birds, insects, and the rustle of unseen creatures. And it's this constant reminder that nature is alive in every corner. We did the tour with our tour guide, Copy, and honestly, it was fantastic. Our guide was not only funny and engaging, but clearly so passionate about wildlife and conservation. Watching him share stories, point out plants and animals, and care about the forest made me a little envious of his job. It's hard to imagine a more rewarding way to spend your days. The rainforest itself is incredible. Towering trees, vines hanging everywhere, and these little streams and pathways that feel like stepping into another world. You really start to appreciate how vital it is to protect places like this. And you can't help but be humbled by the sheer scale and age of it all. We spotted this tiny, adorable spider, but just a few steps back, there was its mom.
They'll be ready inside.
Oh my god, okay. Oh my god, okay.
That's the baby. That's the baby.
Yeah.
Nope.
To wrap up the rainforest trek, we took a long wooden boat along the river back to the base to grab a bite. How cool is that? Riding a boat right through the middle of the jungle. Definitely an experience we'll never forget. Hello! To wrap up the tour, our guide took us to a native village deep in the jungle. The people here have semi-adapted to modern life, but they still live many of their old traditions. A fascinating glimpse into a way of life that's persisted for generations. Our guide explained how they used to hunt with self-made tools, like a long tube used to shoot poison needles. One of the villagers even showed us how they create fire from scratch, using that wide wooden end of the needle to make it stable and functional. It was incredible to see these skills in action, a mix of survival, ingenuity, and deep respect for the forest around them. Visiting the village gave us a real sense of how connected these people are to nature, and how much knowledge they've persevered over the centuries. It's a side of Taman Negara you definitely don't want to miss.
Don't give me a poison one. And of course, we got to try shooting too. Andrea nailed it. I've seen that aim at home. Oh, nice. Me? Well, let's just say you didn't see that.
Oh, in the tree. It's our last full day in Kuala Lumpur, and we decided to take it easy. We started at a mall where lots of stalls were serving French pastries. Couldn't resist trying a few, and they were amazing.
Next, we headed to Oriental Kopi, a Malaysian chain we'd seen everywhere and finally decided to try it. I went for a classic curry with rice, loved it, and Andrea had a fresh fish soup with noodles, which she really enjoyed. We also tried their creamy chai, and wow, it was delicious. It's a perfect spot for a relaxed meal while exploring the city.
To finish off the meal, we tried cendol, a classic Malaysian dessert. It's made with shaved ice, coconut milk, palm sugar, and little green jelly noodles. Super sweet and refreshing. We loved it, and it actually reminded us a lot of the milky desserts we tried back in Hanoi.
And of course, we had to try the kaya toast. It's so good that we even bought some kaya to take home. Definitely a breakfast we'll be missing. We're now in the Perdana Botanical Gardens of Kuala Lumpur. Spending time in places like these really makes you appreciate how important greenscapes are, right in the heart of a city. Living in Europe, we're fortunate, but sometimes we can't help but feel a little envious of people here, with warm climates and lush greenery surrounding them. Just looking at all this vegetation, it's hard not to feel calm, peaceful and completely grounded. Experiencing mini tropical jungles right in the city, or real jungles just a few hours away, is something we all need in our lives. It's a reminder to slow down, breathe and reconnect with nature. Something that's easy to forget when life gets busy. And let's not forget the weather. Our skin felt moisturized and glowing here, something that disappears the second we get back to our dry climates. We feel so fortunate to have experienced this, and it makes us even more grateful for every trip we get to take. There's something magical about exploring parts of the world so different from our own, and it reminds us to keep seeking out these experiences. Here's to many more journeys, discovering new places, meeting new people, and soaking in the beauty this world has to offer. Thanks so much for watching our video. It's been a real pleasure taking you along with us. Next up, we're heading to Singapore, our last destination in Southeast Asia. See you next time. Bye.